Yeah, I think it makes more sense. Last of Us episode 6. Wow, this is a good episode. From episode 5, I think siapa tu, Sam just killed themselves semua benda tu, and they are like traveling to another location to find Tommy. But for this episode, even though I think it's a good episode, like they changed sikit from the game, but I think it kind of felt too rushed. I mean, things happen way too fast lah, in my opinion. I mean, they could have developed it more, but to me, it kind of felt like the emotional weight, like from the game, is not presented in the TV series. I mean, I understand why, because the studio gave them 9 episodes to tell a whole game. But I think that they need more episodes to delve more deep. But you know, in this episode is where basically Ellie and Joel become close together, and they took some aspects from the game and they changed it a little much better. And I think they really did well here in terms of Joel's relationship with Tommy. And what I don't understand is why is like Maria semua tu, they're really giving like shit to Joel. Macam I understand Joel like killed a lot of people, but it was like those hard times. But in this episode, they really like hated Joel for that. They're macam they don't trust him. Apa macam why? Because they had to do what they do to survive. But I think they also killed like a lot of innocent people, so they're kind of like wary ke apa. Kind of treated like Joel is basically a freaking monster, which I don't think it's fair, because they live in a zombie world, so they have to do whatever they do to survive. But I think maybe Joel did a lot more messed up things, and basically Maria doesn't blame Tommy because Tommy diikut je like whatever Joel says, but Tommy is responsible juga. Why are you blaming everything on Joel? So it's like, come on lah, you're all adults, you know what you're doing. You know, take some responsibility. Ni semua nak blame on Joel. That made me macam tak suka Maria sangat. But I understand their way is like the peaceful way, but they killed people juga. So why do they have like the moral high ground to like macam not trust Joel and think Joel is like no better than them? You know, they have to survive. Macam okay ah. Throughout the episodes I think they are really gonna kill Joel in the next season, because this is not the Joel we know from the game, the battle-hardened Joel semua. This Joel is an old man that has been through the war, that has all his freaking wounds. He's like deaf. He's not as strong. He has freaking heart attacks. I mean, even Joel said so himself. In the difference between what I like from the TV series and the game is that Joel is way more human. Joel shows way more emotion than he did when he was in the game. When Joel told Tommy about Ellie and how he doesn't feel like he can take care of her, it makes sense because Joel has like a heart attack. He has like anxiety. He's weak. The last episode, like the previous episodes, he couldn't take down a kid that he could like destroy 5 years ago. So he is not as strong as we know Joel to be from the game. So I think they're setting up his death. Seriously, they're gonna kill off Joel in the next season. Right? They're gonna follow Last of Us Part 2 lah. But which I think that they shouldn't sangat, because I think Joel is a very good character. He could teach Ellie a lot of stuff throughout the series. But I think with this, they are setting up Joel as someone who is not strong, weak, and not adaptable lah. I mean, in the game he was adaptable, but in the TV series they're making him more human in a way, but it's not like the game characteristic that we know. This Joel is gonna get himself killed, and with Maria having a pacifist macam there's other ways to do things. I think that is why he's gonna get killed, because that's how Tommy tells the season 2 character. Oh my god, I lupa nama dia. That their names semua. So that's what's gonna get Joel killed. I am saying it right now. I believe predict that, because this is how it all starts lah. But how but the relationship between Joel and Tommy is good. They delve more deep. They're not like having a pissing contest like they did in the game, which is good. Maria, I don't really like her that much because she basically let Tommy off the hook and blamed Joel for everything that they did, even though they did that to survive. Ellie did a good job. I think they saw Dina in this episode when they were at the dinner table tengah makan semua. So that's cool. So they're setting up season 2 following Last of Us Part 2. So in this episode they also do the scene that is famous, you know, young Ellie like reading a book. Oh, I'm scared. I wish that they had the "you are treading on thin ice" line. It would have been so cool, but I think they did it a different way. But for this scene, it kind of felt like no emotional depth sangat, because I understand from Joel's perspective, he is not strong. Tommy is younger, stronger. They're both like freaking monsters, Tommy and Joel, but Joel is just not at that peak anymore. So that's why Joel asked Tommy to take care of Ellie, because Joel can't take care of her, and it makes sense. It makes sense because Joel almost got them killed, like numerous times lah. And Joel has like a freaking heart condition, which is kind of interesting, but I don't know how they're gonna do that heart condition like in the other episodes, how it's gonna affect lah. So Ellie being mad at Joel doesn't really make sense sangat, and it doesn't really make sense for Joel to put Tommy through all of that, knowing that Tommy has a kid on the way. So macam it's weird lah. But Ellie gets mad. She goes, oh, everyone freaking died and left me semua tu. But it felt so rushed. It felt so rushed, and macam it follows the cutscene from the game, but it doesn't have that the game punya what's that tense moment of like, yeah, this makes sense why she read that way. Ellie, why would Ellie want to be with someone? Why would Ellie doesn't understand that Joel is not as good as she thinks he is? In the game, it kind of makes sense because Joel has no like weaknesses ke apa-apa. I mean, he's been like killing everyone like a freaking monster. But in the TV series, Joel is not like really a good protector sangat because of his heart condition and semua tu, his anxiety and everything, his deafness semua. I kind of understand from Ellie's perspective how she would feel that way, but I think the game did it way better. But what this TV series does way better than the game is like what I liked about it so much. So in the end, Joel macam even though they had a fight, the next day it was like, okay, I'm taking her, and then Ellie macam, okay, yep, I'm going with you. And you can see that Joel and Ellie kind of acts like father-daughter here, which is pretty cool. Joel teaches Ellie how to shoot the gun. Ellie throughout the episode shows that she is capable of doing things alone, even though Joel doesn't want her to because she's still so young. Like, Joel doesn't want to teach her how to. Joel just doesn't want Ellie to take care of him because Joel wants to take care of her. I mean, makes sense. But this episode is the episode where Joel gets impaled. Macam, it makes sense lah. I mean, what I like about this episode, because if they were to do the Joel getting impaled by falling from a first floor, this Joel would be dead. Seriously, this Joel would be dead. The game Joel is like a totally different monster, but this Joel would be dead if he fell from a first story onto a freaking rebar and getting freaking stabbed through the gut. But in this one, Joel gets stabbed with I think with a handle of a baseball bat. I mean, it makes sense for him to get stabbed with that instead of falling from the first floor. So that's what I like about it. And Ellie has to take care of Joel while he recovers following the game. So in the next episode, they tease that it's going to be part of the Left Behind DLC. We're going to see we're going to see Ellie's story, her origin story, which is cool. Can't wait for that. Okay lah. So for this episode, I give it a strong 8 out of 10. the characters, Tommy was good. Maria kind of iffy sikit because she kind of blamed Joel for everything that he and Tommy did, which is, you know, accountability as sikit kan. How they changed the way that instead of Joel falling on a rebar and getting stabbed, it's good. I like how Ellie knows throughout the episode that without Joel she can't survive. She has to survive without Joel now. She has to take care of him. So I want to see how Ellie finds a way to keep Joel alive semua tu. So thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, and peace.